Royalty. You probably picture tiaras, palaces, designer gowns, and picture-perfect photo calls. But every now and then, one royal quietly steals the spotlight without even trying. In the Netherlands, that royal is Princess Alexia. Glamorous, outspoken, a little mischievous, and already being called the Dutch party princess by parts of the European press. She was born into unimaginable privilege, surrounded by art-filled palaces, royal protocols, and billion-euro family wealth. Yet she manages to give everything a fresher, more modern edge, from the way she dresses to the way she lives her teenage years under the glare of cameras. She doesn't even have a public Instagram account, but her outfits, school choices, and friendships are dissected across Europe like she's a celebrity. Today, we're taking a closer look inside the life of Princess Alexia of the Netherlands. Her position in the royal family, the fortune behind her lifestyle, the palaces she calls home, the school gossip, and the fashion moments that have already turned her into a style reference even before she's 20. Princess Alexia Juliana Marcella Laurentian was born on 26 June 2005 in The Hague. She's the middle daughter of King Willem-Alexander and Queen Maxima, and she holds the title Princess of the Netherlands, Princess of Orange-Nassau. Her older sister, Princess Catharina Amalia, is the Princess of Orange and heir apparent to the Dutch throne. That puts Alexia second in line, followed by the youngest sister, Princess Ariane. From the very beginning, Alexia's world has been defined by royal tradition and intense public interest. She was born at the Bronovo Hospital, raised in the forests of The Hague at Huis ten Bosch Palace, and has spent her life moving between heavily guarded royal estates and elite schools. Despite that, the Dutch court tries hard to give the three princesses as normal a childhood as is realistically possible for future queens and princesses. Her education reflects that balance of normality and privilege. Alexia started at Christian Gymnasium Zorgvliet in The Hague, a well-regarded grammar school where she attended classes alongside non-royal classmates. Then, in a move that grabbed international headlines, she went to Wales to study for the International Baccalaureate at WUC Atlantic College, that famously progressive boarding school known as hippie Hogwarts that many young aristocrats and royals have attended. The school emphasizes international understanding, diversity, and social engagement, and it let Alexia live outside the Dutch royal bubble for a while. At the same time, she's gradually stepping into more public royal duties. Like her sisters, she appears on King's Day, attends Prinsjesdag in The Hague, and takes part in official family photo calls and national celebrations. Behind the staged photos, she's said to love music, she plays piano and sings, and she's sporty with a particular passion for hockey and skiing. So the picture you get is of a very modern European princess, educated, multilingual, athletic, and very aware that the cameras are always nearby. To understand the scale of her lifestyle, you have to look at the family she belongs to, the House of Orange-Nassau, one of Europe's oldest and wealthiest dynasties. Her father, King Willem-Alexander, was born in 1967 and became king in 2013 when his mother, Queen Beatrix, abdicated. He studied history at Leiden University, and as monarch, his daily role is mostly ceremonial and constitutional, representing the Netherlands at home and abroad, receiving ambassadors, and acting as a unifying figure rather than a political leader. Her mother, Queen Maxima, brings an entirely different flavor to the Dutch monarchy. Born Maxima Zorregieta in Buenos Aires in 1971, she married Willem-Alexander in 2002 and has become one of Europe's most popular consorts. She's deeply involved in microfinance and financial inclusion work, serving as the UN Secretary General's special advocate for inclusive finance for development. That gives the family a strong link to international development and modern social issues beyond the traditional charity calendar. On her paternal side, her grandfather is Princess Beatrix, the former queen who reigned for 33 years. Her late grandfather, Prince Klaus, was known for his work on social issues and earned huge respect in Dutch society. On her maternal side, Alexia's grandmother, Maria del Carmen Serruita, lives a much more private life, far from the Dutch media.
Financially, the Dutch royal family sits in a very particular position. They are not billionaires in the same way some Gulf royals are, but they are still extraordinarily wealthy by any normal standard. As head of state, King Willem-Alexander and certain close family members receive an annual allowance from the Dutch government. In 2021, the total budget allocated to the royal household, covering the king, the queen, former Queen Beatrix, and associated official costs, was around 47 million euros. That money is meant to fund official duties, staffing, transport, security, and some personal expenses linked to their public role. On top of the state support, the family also has private investments and inherited assets, land, properties, interests in agriculture and other business ventures built up over generations. The exact details of those private holdings are not made public, and Dutch law protects a degree of private financial privacy for them. But historic wealth from the House of Orange-Nassau is widely understood to be substantial. So Princess Alexia is growing up in a family where private jets, multiple homes, and designer wardrobes are normal, but where the family finances are also constantly debated and scrutinized by Dutch taxpayers and media. That tension between extreme privilege and public accountability shapes almost everything she does in public view. One of the clearest expressions of that royal privilege is where she lives. House ten Bosch Palace in the woods of The Hague is the primary residence of the king, queen, and their 3 daughters. The palace dates back to the mid-1600s, and it's a textbook example of Dutch Baroque architecture, symmetrical, stately, set in parkland. Over the centuries, it's been renovated and expanded, but it remains both a historic monument and a functioning family home. Inside, there are staterooms used for official events and receptions, and more private wings where the family lives away from the cameras. Paintings, tapestries, antiques, and modern Dutch design coexist behind doors that the public rarely sees. Noordeinde Palace, also in The Hague, is another key royal building. Originally a medieval farmhouse, later transformed and purchased by the Dutch state, it serves mainly as the king's working palace, his office in effect. It's where new ambassadors present their credentials, where cabinet members are received, where official receptions happen. The gardens behind the palace are open to the public at certain times, but the main building is closed, reminding everyone that some parts of royal life are still firmly off-limits.
Then there is Villa Eichenhorst in Wassenaar, a leafy suburb between The Hague and Leiden. This villa was the private home of Willem-Alexander, Maxima, and their daughters for many years before they moved into Huis ten Bosch full-time. Surrounded by wooded grounds and high security, it offered a slightly more relaxed base when the princesses were younger, away from the formality of the main palaces, but still very much part of the carefully protected royal bubble. All of these properties together paint a very specific picture. Alexia's normal is waking up inside centuries-old royal architecture with manicured gardens outside and security teams just out of view. Despite that, her teenage years have not been perfectly polished. In fact, part of her appeal is that she comes across as a little less controlled than some royal heirs. Spanish tabloids in particular have taken a strong interest in her, largely because of her friendship with Spain's heir to the throne, Princess Leonor. The two attended WUC Atlantic in Wales at the same time, and their closeness sparked endless headlines and speculation. Some Spanish outlets went so far as to claim that Alexia was a bad influence, alleging she skipped school, partied too much, and didn't always behave like a royal should. One recurring rumor even suggested Queen Letizia of Spain wanted some distance between Leonor and Alexia because of her wilder side. None of these sensational claims have ever been confirmed by the Dutch court, and The Hague stays strictly above that kind of gossip. Officially, the royal website describes Alexia as spirited, adventurous, and enthusiastic, a teenager with energy and personality, not a scandal magnet. And supporters are quick to point out that she has never been caught up in anything truly serious or dangerous. Most of the noise around her is about being outgoing, fun-loving, and occasionally bending the rules like many teenagers do. We saw that resilient, determined side of her very clearly in 2016. During the King's Games, a nationwide sports day for children held in honor of the King's birthday, Alexia took part even though she had a broken femur. She kept dancing and joining in, refusing to let the injury stop her. It became a small but memorable moment that showed a stubborn streak behind the glamorous photos. If there is one area where Alexia is already a fully formed royal star, it's fashion. From a young age, she has stood out at official events for her confident, sometimes daring looks. Where her sister Amalia often goes for classic, queen-in-training silhouettes, Alexia is more likely to push the boundaries, within reason, with bold colors, unusual accessories, or modern cuts. One of her most talked-about fashion moments came at her first solo engagement, when she wore a dramatic Oscar de la Renta gown borrowed from Queen Maxima's wardrobe. The dress, intricately cut, beautifully tailored, and priced in the high thousands, signaled that she was stepping into the next phase of royal life, and doing so in serious couture. She has also been seen in pieces from royal favorite Nathan, the Belgian house that dresses multiple European queens. Prinsjesdag 2023, the annual state opening of Parliament where royals appear in full formal wear, she chose a particularly striking dress that many royal watchers immediately called one of her best looks to date. The Sango design, elegant, structured, and clearly not cheap, paired with carefully chosen jewelry made her stand out, even in a sea of hats and gowns. She doesn't restrict herself to traditional princess pieces either. In another appearance, she walked out in metallic silver and rose-toned cowboy boots from Parisian brand Isabelle Marant, causing a mild fashion storm. It was an unexpected choice for a Dutch princess at an official photo call, but she pulled it off, blending youthful rebellion with royal poise. Her accessories are just as carefully curated. She has been spotted with bright blue gemstone rings and high-end earrings like the cool-look hibiscus design in white mother of pearl, a pair that retails for around $500. They're distinctive but still elegant, a good match for someone who has to look polished but doesn't want to seem old beyond her years. Then there's the jewelry box she's set to inherit access to. As a granddaughter of Queen Beatrix and future sister of the monarch, Alexia will eventually have the run of some Europe's most historic tiaras and heirloom pieces. Already, at more formal events, she leans into diamond earrings, delicate necklaces, and possibly family pieces with deep history behind them, although the palace rarely confirms exact provenance. Her jewelry style mixes that royal heritage with modernity, clean lines, subtle use of colored stones, and a readiness to wear contemporary designers alongside traditional diamonds. At big state occasions, she can go full princess mode with more elaborate sets. For day-to-day engagements, she pulls back to simpler studs, fine chains, and minimalist rings that wouldn't look out of place on any stylish young woman. Outside the fashion and luxury, there is also a quieter side to the royal family's life that Alexia is growing into: philanthropy and representation. The Dutch royals are heavily involved in patronages and charities, both at home and abroad. They support causes ranging from mental health and youth programs to culture, water management, and international development. While Alexia is still young, you can expect that in the coming years she'll be assigned her own set of patronages, reflecting her interests and the areas her parents want her to champion. That balance, appearing at glamorous galas in couture one day, visiting hospitals or community projects the next, is the modern royal job description. It's a life of privilege, but also of constant public exposure and expectation. In the end, Princess Alexia's life is a mix of contradictions that fascinate royal watchers. She's a teenager who moves between billion-euro palaces and international boarding schools, a princess who can cause a stir just by wearing cowboy boots, a future pillar of the Dutch monarchy who's already built up a wild child reputation